Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for joining me for this month's Stamp Around UK video hop. The theme for this month is wedding, and I am going to be using the lovely Happiness Abound stamp set here along with the coordinating blossoming happiness dies, which are all part of the Hues of Happiness suite, which can be found on page 108 and 109 of the May 2022 to April 2023 annual catalogue. So as mentioned, they are all part of a suite. So this is the lovely stamp set which I'm going to be using. I'm going to be mainly using it for the rose here. This is the main thing which I'm going to be using in some of these little ones right here, which is what I'm going to use for today's card. And obviously it comes with some coordinating dies, which is perfect. I'm not actually going to be using the suite, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. So in part of the suite, you get these lovely Glossy Dots assortment. So look at just how lovely and shiny they are. They're really, really pretty. So you get these in the 4 colours. And this is a very colourful, bright and cheery paper. So the things that you're going to need is plenty of white cardstock. So I've got myself my card base already got to cut down to size. So for us, we cut ours here at 14.6 centimetres by 21 and score in half at 10.5. You would also need another piece of card, which is going to be your layer, which will go in now. I'll give you the measurements for that in a moment. And you will need some circles. So these circles are from the new Stylish Shapes dies, which is these ones here. So you've got some stitched circles, so you can see that they are, everything is stitched double-sided, so you've got them stitches at both sides. So you've got these lovely circles, you've got some squares, and you've got these lovely banners here as well. So that's what I'm going to be using. So if you're using these, you'll need the largest one and the second largest one down. Okay, and that's going to go on that one there, but I'll show you that one in a moment. Go ahead and cut your card base down to size. Go ahead and cut a layer, and this layer here is 9.5 centimetres by 13.6 centimetres. Okay, and that will go on like that, but we will need to do some die cutting. Go ahead and die cut your 3 circles, okay, so you'll end up with all of that. First things first is we want to do a little bit of die cutting on one of these, and this is where we will be using the smaller circle. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to take a circle out of this to create an aperture. Remember, this is a video hop, so if you want to find everyone else's links, they can be found down below in the description as well. So do please make sure you go and hop along with everyone else to see what amazing ideas they have all come up with for wedding. So now you are left with that. This part can go to one side. You don't actually need this. We're using the aperture here. Once you've gone ahead and done that, just go ahead and stick your vellum to the back side of this one right here, and then that can then be sticking and getting itself nice and secure before we do some stamping on that. So just go ahead, pop some glue around the edge of that one and stick that one to that one there. So that there is now your vellum secured to that one, which has given us a nice little diffuser on that one. Let's pop those bits to one side for the moment, and we'll come back to those in a second. With your layer here, we're going to be using the dies from the Happiness Abounds bundle. So take your Blossom Happiness dies, and we're going to use this lovely trellis style die right here. You may have noticed, you may notice on here, there's some of these stitched lines. So we're going to come up, position that in a corner to add some detail. So, and we're going to make sure that the pattern kind of like looks like it's meant to be there. So it's almost like a trellis. So I've kind of noticed there's this line here, line that up with kind of at the top of the page, and this dot here, which is like a little pinhole in the corner. And then this little pinhole down here. So if you just use those as your 3 points for your reference to make sure it's straight, and do the same on the opposite side, everything will look nice and even. So line, dot, and dot, and you should get a nice even cut. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on one side, and then repeat that on the opposite side over here. Okay, so you can see that there is what you're left with. It's got this lovely kind of like trellis stitched in here. Some of the bits don't actually pop out, so you can, once you've done it, you can go in and you can just push from the back, just to kind of like pull up some of these little details in this die. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and just push these bits back, okay, which I think is a nice little detail. It just lifts up the card in there. So go ahead and do that. Once you've done that, you can then stick that directly down onto your card base, like so. All right. So there is the start of your card. So you've got this lovely trellis look right here. Okay, so pop that to one side because you're actually done with that for the moment. We're going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to be using my, as I mentioned earlier on, going to be using these two here. Probably actually this one right here is the one I'm going to mainly use. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp these. So I'm going to be using some Versamark. And I'm going to heat emboss these with some gold powder. So just pop some gold on here. Like that. Go ahead and heat set that, and then you can then go ahead and die cut that. So I'm going to heat set it, and then I will die cut it. And just like magic, here we go. Here's 4 I did earlier. So I pop those to one side along with your card. Now what we want to do is we want to do some more stamping and some more heat embossing. So for this, I'm going to use the Stamparatus, okay? So this is quite important for this technique, so you get the positioning lined up correctly every time. So, and it's quite good with a circle, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to butt my circle up into the corner up here. I'm going to take my stamp which I need, which on this one is that one there. So I'm going to be using this rose here. And then what I want to do is I want to position this in the center. Actually, if I do it on this one first, because then I can see where it is. So I'm going to do it on the aperture one. Position that down. Pick my stamp up. And then I can position it again. Now, because it's in a circle, it doesn't matter what way round this is, which is quite clever actually with a circle, because it eliminates the error. Take some Versamark. Actually, first things first, though, I do need to prime my vellum. So just take yourself an embossing buddy, something just to take away any of the stick from that vellum. Okay, that can go back in there like that. Ink up with some Versamark. And then stamp down. And then we can then heat set that one there. So bring in our tools again, bring in our gold. And that there is now the gold on that, and we'll heat set that in a second, okay? Before I heat set, and I've got this tool out, I'm going to take the other circle, and I'm going to use some black. So I'm going to take my Memento, I'm going to ink that up there, and then I'm just going to then bring this over. So because it's a circle, both the same size, these are going to end up in exactly the same position, and circle is quite nice because all I will need to do is just rotate it to actually find it. So let's do some heat setting. And there you have it. So you've now got that as a nice gold feature to the front of your card. Obviously with vellum it does buckle a little bit, so you may just need to manipulate this, keep it between something heavy for the time being whilst it just comes back down to size. It does buckle, but we will pop some dimensionals around this to flatten it out when we bring it onto the card. So we would also need to do some of your sentiment. So I've already gone ahead and done this. What I've done is I've used the congratulations sentiment from the same stamp set as well. So you've got this lovely nice banner sentiment right here. Done congratulations. I've used the punch. So I've used a 1/2 inch piece of basic white, and then I've stamped and then punched out this banner. So that there is going to be what I'm going to be using for the front. And the same thing, I've heat embossed that in some gold as well. So the next thing is, I'm just going to take this one here and I'm going to colour. So I'm going to be using the Sweet Sorbet blend. And you don't need to do nothing special on this. All you need to do is just colour the whole thing in red, because it's going to get diffused. So you can go over. Nothing fancy colouring. Okay, so what we've gone ahead and done there is we've just coloured in that rose in a red. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop some dimensionals all the way around the back of this, and then we're going to then stick this to this one right here. And so remember, as I said, it was a circle, so it's easy to line this up. So you can then just rotate it round until you've got it to where you need it to be, and then you can then stick that down, and then it just diffuses that red like that. So go ahead and just pop some dimensionals on the back of this and then stick it to that. So a little tip here to help you if you are worried about sticking this down and getting in position and manoeuvring it around. If you add a little bit of glue to your dimensionals as well, it just gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So it just helps a little bit. So some glue to that. Then what we can do is we can then position this over the top and then manoeuvre it in place. So I'm just going to bring it down a little bit closer so I can see a bit better. Okay. But with that little bit of glue on there would just give you just that little bit of room. If you needed to manoeuvre it, you could do. You just got a little bit of sliding room. And that will obviously just settle itself out. Once that all dries and gets into place, we can manipulate things later on. Once it's a little bit drier, it does level itself out once it's dry. Okay, so just bear with that. That will settle down eventually. Good, so that's that one there. What we can do now is we will nearly finished, and we will then just stick this to the front of the card. So I'm just going to position this on my prototype. I brought it in the center. I'm just going to see what it looks like a little bit higher. We're going to stick the sentiment is going to go across like that. Yes, I'm going to go a little bit higher on this one. I'll show you the original afterwards. So glue on all the back of this. Some glue on the back of the sentiment here. And that then gets put on like so. And then to finish this off, what we were going to do is we're going to take these two right here. Now, I think these two look more like a bouquet, like a wedding bouquet. So we're just going to take two of these. And I'm just going to stick these together to make it just a little bit fuller. Like so. And then that can then go on the back like that. And there we have it. There is my wedding card using the Happiness Abounds stamp set. So the glue is a little bit dry and wet at the moment, so it's a little bit creasy, it's a little bit crinkled up. But obviously, as you can see, once it dries, things, you can manipulate things, and you can then start to, it starts to dry flatter. So do just bear with it. You can see on my original one, I brought it more into the centre. On the one I've just done here for you today, I've just raised it up a little bit. So I just think it just is a little bit more pleasing to the eye, this one. And I added some of the bunches down here. So, but I think I prefer it this way right here than this one. Hope you like that. Nice wedding idea using the Happiness Abound stamp set. So like I say, do remember to hop over with everyone else. Links can be found down below in the description. And also links to our online shop can be found down below in the description as well. So if you would like to purchase anything and you live in the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands or Austria, you can shop with us. So yes, please do that if you so wish to. Well, enjoy the rest of the hop. I'm sure there's some amazing ideas out there, so yes, go ahead and enjoy the rest of the hop, and we will be back with you again next month, at the beginning of, what would it be, beginning of June. Wow. Okay, so where's this year going already? So beginning of June will be the next video hop for the Stamp Around UK. Okay, thank you very much, have a great day, and we will see you again soon. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.